Chapter 1: The Arrival. It was close to midnight when Ethan Gray reached the town of Briar's Rast. Fog moved like pale hands across the empty streets. The old houses looked abandoned, as if they leaned away from him in fear. Ethan had been driving for hours. He was exhausted, but he could not turn back now. He had come to find the place described in his grandmother's journal, a house called the Hollow House. She had written only one sentence about it, one terrifying sentence. "If you ever hear the walls breathing, leave before they finish their breath." Ethan thought it was a metaphor, something poetic. Tonight, he would learn that it was not.
Chapter 2: The House That Waits. The Hollow House stood at the end of an old dirt road. It was larger than he expected. Tall, wide, dark. Its windows looked like open eyes. Its roof sagged like a mouth about to speak. The house seemed to be waiting. As Ethan approached, the wind stopped. Every cricket, every rustle in the grass, all of it went silent. The quiet pressed against his ears like a heavy hand. He unlocked the door using the old iron key from his grandmother's journal. The door swung open without resistance, as if the house wanted him inside. He stepped in, and the door closed behind him on its own.
Chapter 3: The First Breath. The interior smelled of dust and cold stone. His flashlight cut through the darkness in a narrow beam. Shadows clung to the walls like living shapes. Every sound echoed too long. Each footstep seemed followed by a second, softer step. He reached the staircase, and then he heard it. A long, slow sound. Inhale, a deep pull of air, like lungs buried inside the walls. Then nothing. A still pause. A silence full of warning. His heart pounded. His grandmother's words returned. "If you ever hear the walls breathing, leave before they finish their breath." He whispered to himself, "It's just the house settling." But he didn't believe it. He climbed the stairs anyway.
Chapter 4: The Room with No Reflection. The upstairs hallway stretched longer than seemed possible from the outside. He counted 6 doors, all of them closed, all of them identical. He tried the first door, a bedroom, old furniture, a tall standing mirror. He stepped in and shined his light toward the mirror. He froze. The room appeared in the reflection, but Ethan did not. The mirror showed every object, but not him. The house exhaled behind him, a slow, hollow breath. He turned, terrified, but the room was empty. Still, the echo of the exhale seemed to vibrate through the floorboards. He left the room immediately. The doors slammed shut behind him. Chapter 5: Voices in the Vents. Ethan continued down the impossible hallway. He reached another door and opened it slowly. Inside was a study, filled with dust-covered books. An old typewriter sat on a wooden desk. The paper in it was yellowed and brittle, but someone had typed something recently. Fresh ink, dark and wet. He leaned in to read, "We see you." The vents above him rattled, then whispers slid through the metal tubes. Soft, hissing. hundreds of small voices speaking at once. "Stay with us. You came so far. We can breathe for you. We can breathe through you." Ethan backed out of the room. He shut the door. The whispers continued, muffled but frantic. Chapter 6. The basement that was not empty. He reached the end of the hallway. A final door waited. It was different from the others, heavier, carved with symbols he did not recognize. He opened it. A narrow staircase descended into darkness. The air smelled damp and old, like a forgotten grave. He felt a presence below, waiting, listening. He whispered, "Hello?" The darkness answered, "Inhale." The longest breath yet, deep, hungry. Ethan descended, against every instinct, against every warning. The basement was enormous, a cavern beneath the house. Stone walls, no windows, no lights. But he was not alone. Something moved in the shadows. Tall shapes, human-like but twisted. Their chests expanded and contracted as they breathed, in perfect unison with the walls. They turned toward him. Their empty eyes opened, their mouths hung wide, stretching too far. Skin pulled tight, ribs visible, breathing, always breathing. One stepped forward. "You returned," it whispered, in a voice like scraping bone. "You carry her blood. You carry her promise." Ethan tried to speak, but he could not. The creature inhaled deeply, and the entire basement inhaled with it.
Chapter 7. The Truth of the House. The creatures circled him. They moved without sound. Their pale faces were filled with something like longing. A woman's voice echoed through the darkness, but Ethan saw no woman. It was a voice he recognized, his grandmother. "Ethan," the voice whispered, "you should not have come, but since you are here, you must listen." A faint shape appeared at the far end of the room. His grandmother, or something wearing her face. She spoke calmly, sadly. "This house is alive. It breathes through those it claims. I escaped once, but never truly. I knew it would call to you. It calls to all of us." One of the creatures touched Ethan's shoulder. Its hand was ice cold. The voice continued, "The house needs a host, a living heart, a beating lung. It needs someone to breathe for it." The creatures began inhaling again, louder, faster, as if preparing for something. Ethan backed away. "No," he whispered. "No, I won't." The house exhaled so hard that dust and air blasted from the walls. His grandmother's voice grew harsh. "You do not choose. The house chooses."
Chapter 8. The Last Breath. The walls pulsed. The ceiling bulged as if giant lungs pressed from within. Inhale. Ethan fell to his knees. The pressure was unbearable. Air rushed into him, filling his lungs painfully, as if the house was breathing through him. The creatures closed in. Their mouths opened wider than humanly possible. Their eyes rolled back. Exhale. A massive, booming release of air shook the floor. Ethan screamed. The house inhaled again, harder, deeper. pulling at him, pulling the breath from his body. His vision blurred, his chest burned, his heart raced. The last thing he heard before everything went black was his grandmother's whisper. "Now you are part of the house." Chapter 9. The New Voice. Days later, the hollow house stood silent once more, empty, still, waiting. But at night, if you listened closely, you could hear new whispers in the vents. A man's voice, fearful, begging. And if you stood by the front door, you might hear something else. A long inhale, followed by a strained, terrified exhale. The house was breathing. And now, one of those breaths was Ethan's.
Chapter 10. The Awakening of the Walls. The first sign that Ethan was no longer entirely human came when the walls began to move. Soft ripples pressed outward from the wooden boards, as if something inside them was stretching, relaxing, alive. Ethan floated in darkness. He did not know if he was dead or dreaming. He felt weightless, pulled in every direction, not by hands, but by breath. He heard voices around him, the same voices from the vents, whispering, laughing, calling him by name. "Ethan," they hissed. "Breathe with us. Breathe for us. Breathe as us." He tried to scream, but he had no mouth. He tried to open his eyes, but he had no face. Yet he could feel the house, every beam, every hallway, every room. He felt the wind outside, brushing against the walls like fingers. He felt insects crawling in the floorboards. He felt the heartbeat of the house, slow and heavy, beating once for every breath it took. And in the core of that heartbeat was him. Chapter 11. The Visitor. On the third night after Ethan's disappearance, someone approached the hollow house. A stranger, a young woman with a backpack and a flashlight. She stopped at the gate, staring at the house with wide, uneasy eyes. Her name was Ava Lane. She was a journalism student from the next town over, and she was looking for Ethan. He had been her mentor, her friend, almost like a brother. She had found the old journal he left behind. She had followed the same clues, and now she stood where he once stood, at the front steps of the hollow house. The house felt her presence. It shivered. Its walls moved in a slow, rhythmic pattern. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Holding the air. Waiting. Ava hesitated only for a moment, then stepped inside. Chapter 12. Echoes of Ethan. Ava entered the dark foyer. It smelled of old wood, damp stone, and something faintly metallic. The air felt heavy, too heavy for a normal building. She closed the door behind her. The sound echoed far longer than expected. "Ethan?" she called. Her voice trembled. "Are you here?" The house answered, not with a voice, but with a soft, human exhale. Ava shuddered. She raised her flashlight and moved deeper. Every step creaked.
Every shadow seemed to lean toward her. She reached the staircase and froze. A faint whisper drifted down from above. "Ava, leave." It was Ethan's voice. She whispered back, "Ethan, is that you?" Silence. Then a second whisper, lower, broken, like something was forcing sound through lungs that were not made for speech. "Run!" Ava's heart pounded, but she continued up the stairs, one step at a time. The house inhaled deeply behind her. Chapter 13. The Mirror Speaks. Ava reached the bedroom with the tall standing mirror. The same room Ethan had entered days before. Dust covered everything, but the mirror was pristine, completely clean, as if someone had wiped it moments ago. She approached slowly. Her reflection looked back at her, but then it changed. Her face remained, but a second reflection appeared behind her. A man, pale, expressionless, eyes empty, mouth slightly open. It was Ethan. Ava gasped and turned around, but the room behind her was empty. She looked back at the mirror. Ethan was still there, but now he was whispering. His lips barely moved. "Not safe. Leave. House is awake." Ava reached toward the glass. Her fingers trembled. "Ethan, I'm going to get you out." The reflection's eyes widened. The mouth stretched too far. A horrible gasp escaped the mirror. "No escape," the reflection whispered. "Breathe with us." Ava stumbled back. The mirror shook violently. Cracks formed across its surface, but Ethan's face remained clear behind the cracks. The room exhaled hard, enough to blow out Ava's flashlight. She ran. Chapter 14. The Basement Calls Again. Ava found the heavy door at the end of the hallway, the same door Ethan had opened. Symbols carved into the wood pulsed with a faint glow. She heard breathing from behind the door, deep, slow, rhythmic. She whispered to herself, "Whatever happened to you, Ethan, I'm not leaving without answers." She grabbed the handle. It was freezing cold, like metal left outside during a winter storm. The door swung open on its own. A rush of cold air blew up from below. It smelled like damp earth and something sweet, something rotten. Ava descended the stairs. Each step creaked. Each breath she took felt heavy, wrong, as if the air itself resisted her lungs. At the bottom, she entered the basement, and she froze. Shapes moved in the darkness, tall figures, breathing in unison, their pale faces half visible, their eyes reflecting her flashlight like animal eyes in the night. A voice whispered from the far corner, "Ava!" Ethan, or what was left of him. Chapter 15. The Heart of the House. Ava approached slowly. Her flashlight shook in her hand. "Ethan," she whispered, "what did this place do to you?" He stepped into the light. His skin was thin, almost translucent. His chest expanded unnaturally wide each time he inhaled, the bones visible beneath. His eyes were filled with sorrow and something else, something ancient, something belonging to the house. Ava, he whispered, you should not have come here. I'm here to take you home, she said, voice trembling. There is no home, Ethan whispered. There is only breath, and the house needs more breath. The walls around them expanded. Inhale, exhale, inhale. The tall creatures began to close in. Their steps were silent, their breathing thunderous. Ava backed away, but the air thickened. Her lungs struggled, as if the house was trying to control her breathing too. Ethan reached out a hand, not to save her, but to hold her in place. Ava, he whispered, voice cracking. I'm sorry, the house chose you. The creatures opened their mouths wide, too wide, far beyond human limits. Darkness poured from their throats like smoke. Ava tried to scream, but the sound never left her lungs. The house inhaled hard, and everything went dark.
Chapter 16. The breath that was not hers. Ava awoke on the cold basement floor. Her lungs hurt. Every breath felt heavier than the last, as if the air inside the house weighed more than air should. She pushed herself up slowly. The creatures were gone. The basement was empty. Only the sound of breathing remained, but it was not coming from the walls. It was coming from her. Inhale, her chest expanded too far. Exhale, a deep, hollow sound escaped her throat. Ava gasped in horror. The house was trying to make her breathe like one of them. "No," she whispered, fighting the rhythm. "I won't let you." But the house inhaled again. Her body followed against her will. Her back arched. Her ribs creaked. Somewhere above her, a door slammed. Footsteps echoed in the halls. Someone else had entered the house. Chapter 17. The Stranger in the Dark. Ava forced herself to stand. Her legs shook. Her breath stuttered. She tried to move toward the stairs, but each step felt like walking through thick water. Voices drifted from above. A man's voice, young, confused. "Hello? Is someone in here?" Ava's heart pounded. She tried to shout, but her voice came out as a strained whisper. "Go! Leave this place, now!" But Noah took a step closer. "What happened to you? Are you hurt?" The house inhaled sharply. Both of them felt it. The air pulled at their lungs. Noah gasped. "What was that?" Ava tried to answer, but another breath forced itself through her chest. The walls shivered. The basement door slammed shut behind Noah. Chapter 18. Ethan's Warning. A shadow moved at the far end of the basement. Ethan stepped forward, pale and trembling. His movements were slow, unnatural, as if every joint resisted him. Noah flinched. Who are you?" Ethan shook his head. "It doesn't matter. Neither of us matter anymore." Ava reached for him weakly. "Ethan, please help us." He closed his eyes, pained. "I can't help anyone. I barely help myself." Noah backed toward the wall. "What is this place?" Ethan looked up, eyes empty and glowing faintly. This house breathes. It hungers for breath. It takes people and fills them with itself. Noah swallowed hard. What do you mean, fills them? Ethan tapped his chest. You become part of it. A voice in the vents, a breath in the walls, a thought inside its lungs. Ava trembled. Ethan, there has to be a way out. He shook his head slowly. There is one way, but you won't like it.
Chapter 19. The Heart of the Hollow. Ethan guided them deeper into the basement, past the stone pillars, past the shadows that trembled with each breath the house took. At the very end lay a large wooden door, older than the house itself, covered in carvings of ribs and lungs. Ethan placed his hand on it. The door pulsed beneath his fingers. This, he said softly, is the heart room. Ava whispered, What's inside? He turned toward them. The core of the house, where the first host rests. If you destroy the heart, you break the cycle. Noah frowned. So why didn't you do it? Ethan's voice shook. Because the heart fights back. He pushed the door slowly. Inside was a massive chamber. Roots hung from the ceiling like veins. A pool of dark liquid sat in the center. And above it, a body, suspended, bloated and pale, chest rising and falling, breathing for the house. Its ribs were broken outward, its mouth stretched open, its eyes twitching beneath thin skin. Ava covered her mouth, horrified. Oh my God! Noah whispered, Is that alive? Ethan nodded. It is the first person the house ever claimed, the one who built this place, the one who gave it breath. Ava stared at the body. How do we destroy it? Ethan swallowed. You stop its breath. Chapter 20. The Breath That Decides. Ava approached the suspended body. Her legs trembled. Her lungs still fought to match the house's rhythm. Noah grabbed her arm. Wait, if the house is breathing through you, what happens if you stop its breath? Ethan looked away. She dies with it. Ava froze. So I'm connected to it now? Yes, Ethan whispered. You are its newest host, and it will not let you go. Noah stepped in front of her. There has to be another way. Ethan shook his head. No, the house will keep growing. It will take you. It will take him. It will take anyone who enters its shadow. Ava stared at the pulsing, breathing body. The original host. The core. Her survival meant nothing if others kept dying. She turned to Noah, voice steady. Whatever happens, run when I tell you. Ava, run! She reached for the body. Its skin was cold, wet, quivering. The house inhaled violently. The entire chamber shook. The body's chest expanded wider, ribs cracking, lungs stretching. The air pulled at her own breath. Ava pressed her hands against its chest. No more, she whispered. No more breath. The house screamed, a roar of air, a blast of heat, shadows swirling like torn fabric. The body fought against her. Its lungs pushed, pulled, shrieked, but Ava held firm. She pushed the air out of its lungs. The house exhaled for the last time. A howl of agony, windows shattering, floorboards splitting, walls collapsing inward like crushed ribs. Ethan screamed. Noah grabbed Ava as the chamber trembled. The house was dying, but Ava could no longer breathe. Her chest rose once,
twice, shuddered. Everything around them went silent. The house gave one final, haunting exhale, and the world went black.